Hey folks, some of you may know me as Jake Manning. I work for Highspots.com, and this is another Highspots shoot interview series. And I'm here today with the Briscoe brothers in the Highspots Lounge. Guys, thanks for coming to Highspots.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you showing up. Now, we've interacted with each other before. I've seen you at shows. We talk to each other from time to time, and I know a little bit about you. But I feel like I know you in a sense because I come from a rural community. You're from a rural community. You worked on a livestock farm. I worked on a livestock farm. Mm-hmm. And every time that I've ever met you and talked to you, I've always had this impression. And it makes me think back to when I was growing up. There'd always be a group of brothers, and they'd show up. And when they'd show up, it'd be like, oh fuck. Here come these motherfuckers. And I've always felt like you were those guys in your community. Were you those same guys that when they motherfucking Jay and Chicken showed up? Oh hell.
Well, business getting ready to pick up when we show up. We try to, try to get something done wherever we go. Try to, just leave an impression. But yeah, I guess you could kind of say that.
Were you the kids that were kind of like the bike gang that would show up?
Yeah.
Like tackle football is going to be much harder today. They're not going to call no fouls when we play basketball with these guys.
Yeah, something like that.
Kind of like were you a little bit of troublemakers growing up?
Oh Lord, yeah. Well, yeah, we got a little history, but yeah. I mean, we was good. Started when we were real young. I was pretty good till about middle school or so. Then I started acting up a little bit and kind of went downhill. I'm trying to think. Yeah, she went downhill there for a while.
Right about high school. Went downhill for the both of us, actually.
Yeah.
That's when the hormones come in.
Yeah.
And then it peaked right about, it had to be 2005 when I got my 3 DUIs is when it peaked.
Yeah.
So
he got 3 DUIs before it was in.
So it peaked when we was 20. So it was about from 13 to 20. Woo-wee!
Well, I know how it is. I had my first drink before 21. So were you guys the same? What's the first time you tasted alcohol?
Oh, shit. Gosh, I can't even remember now. It's been so long. I'm trying to think at our cousin's wedding. She was... Shoot, when did Steph get married? She was young.
Shoot. We were probably in middle school.
Yeah, it was somewhere in there, 13, 14, something.
Like I said, sometimes it's the culture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like some people right now may be a little disturbed by that, but same place where I came from.
Yeah,
we're in the bar, because there's not a lot of places to go.
Oh, yeah.
The bar's the only place that's open past 11 o'clock.
Right. When he turned 21, because we do look similar. I hate to think that I'm that ugly, but when he turned 21, he just right away went to the DMV and said, I done lost my license, and he gave me his old one, so we both were, the same guy. We just had to go in. He'd go in, and then I'd wait about 10 minutes, and I'd go in, just in case. Like, hold up. Y'all got the same name.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
I wish I had a brother that I could have pulled that off with. Mm-hmm. That's actually pretty ingenious. I'm not going to lie. So growing up, were you guys involved in sports? Like, what'd you guys do?
Yeah, played football. We always played football, man. Our grandfather actually played running back for the Eagles.
Really?
Yeah, and he and our dad, man, he was real big into football. He played for Army for a year, then he transferred down to Salisbury, which is like a small school around us. But he was All American and everything. He was a beast of football, man. And my mom's dad was real good at football, man. So we were pretty big into football. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we played football throughout all
American football. Not soccer.
Not soccer. No, nobody likes soccer. At least nobody in this camera frame. That's for sure.
So played football and played a little bit of basketball too, man. I actually never did the school wrestling. During wrestling season, I was playing basketball. So
yeah.
Now it's slow pitch softball.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, did you ever play baseball in high school?
Not in high school, but I played little league, and sometimes I thought I was, I could hit the ball all right sometimes, but I embarrassed myself pretty regularly.
It got to me, man. Once they started throwing that ball, man, the faster that ball was coming, the more I didn't like baseball. Because, you just standing there, and you figuring if they want to, they can just beam the shit out you. And you just standing there with a bat. And I want never, once they started throwing that bitch hard, I had to kind of,
especially knowing one of our buddies, Whitey, a pitcher. Real good pitcher. he threw almost 90, and he was yeah. When so and so gets up, I'm gunning for him. And so just knowing that there's people like Crazy Whitey out there.
I mean, you're just at the mercy of the pitcher.
I totally agree. And of course, when you're playing softball,
And then-
at this age, you know, it's a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah,
and you're drinking beer too, I'm sure, while you do it.
Everybody's
That-
relaxing. Yep.
Nobody's
You
worried
got to
about
put
getting
the arc on the ball and everything, and you ain't got to worry about softball's
different.
All you got to worry about is stroking dingers.
I agree. But you know, I definitely agree with you because I was the same way with baseball, afraid of that contact. But you know, didn't one of you do boxing as well? Mark, you should talk about that very briefly.
When I had my knee surgery, I when I got back to the point where I could walk and I was starting to be able to rehab it and stuff, but I sure couldn't wrestle yet. But to get it strengthened back up and to get my lungs back right, I joined the boxing gym, and I just boxed for I don't know, maybe 3-4 months just to get back in shape for wrestling. But man, the boys work out hard there. And I boxed. I sparred with a guy named Alexis Guerrero. His brother Fernando is getting a world title shot. I think
it's tonight.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
In middleweight. Then the one I sparred with, Alex, he was a silver medal in the Gold Gloves out in like Denver, Colorado. Like when I was there, he left and he came back and he had got the silver and stuff. And I was sparring with him, and I don't know if none of them boys ever see this, but first time we ever sparred, first round, I caught him. I mean, he was just wide open, and I caught him. I mean, don't get me wrong, he whooped my tail. Good Lord, he whooped me. But I caught him, and it was just enough. He was off balance. I mean, it wasn't nothing, a tremendous punch, but I put him down. I put him down, and they acted like it was a slip. They acted like I said, "Oh, come on, Alex, get up, you slip." I put him down, and then he proceeded. To whoop my behind for 3 rounds. Shoot. At the end of the 3 rounds, Coach Howie said, "Phew, daggone, oh, you're tough." But good Lord, I got whooped. And he continued to whoop me for the remainder of my boxing tenure.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Well, you talk about the wrestling, but let's go from like doing all these sports, and we go now to wrestling. How does that happen? Does one of you have interest, and then get the other one interested, or is it just a team thing? Let's do this together.
Yeah, we was always wrestling, man, on the trampoline, in the backyard. We got so many backyard videos, man, of us doing some crazy stuff, man.
What was the craziest thing?
Well, he was always, I guess he used to pretend to be New Jack, so he would jump. I remember he jumped off the carport.
Cactus Jack with wings was my backyard gimmick.
He jumped off the carport, the house a few times, the barn, the garage, the chicken house, you named it, he jumped off it. And like how we used to make our tables, like we didn't, we couldn't just go buy a table or whatever. So we had in the chicken house, there's these things called box lids, which is just a piece of cardboard folded up like a little box that you put so feed can fill up in them. Mm-hmm. And so we would take about 24 box lids and just kind of stack them all up side by side, and then lay 2 on top. And so I would just lay on top of the box lids. I mean, it'd be real flimsy, but if you could get it just right, I'd always have to lay on my stomach. So that was our little tables that we used to make the box lids. So I'd be laying there, and it was always I was laying on my stomach, and so he would jump on my back. That's probably why my damn back ain't worth a damn now. But yeah, so he would always hit me. He'd always hit me with a splash while I was laying on my belly on the box lids.
Did you ever play Natural Born Killers while you were doing it too?
Oh, every time. I mean, we got videos. Every time he hit him with this, and then there he went.
Okay. Dude, I even had the New Jack shirt where it was shredded and all that. I wore that for a couple matches. Now my backyard, my backyard name was Clef, short for Wyclef.
Okay.
And one half of the FBH, the full-blooded Haitians. Me and my buddy Pat Bell, his gimmick was Mad Dog Bean. Mad Dog, like the drink, and Bean like Mr. Bean.
I see what
the full-blooded Haitians, clapping Mad Dog.
I was my backyard name was Dick the Hill.
It was just Dick.
Yeah, I mean Dick the Hill was the whole thing, but it's Dick. He was a cocky bastard.
Sounds like a what do you call it, with a double name or something like that, like Dick and Heel. It's the same name.
Yeah.
Like a little redundant.
A little redundant, yeah.
But still good. So judging by some of those names, ECW fans growing up,
Huge.
I think
Once,
go ahead.
shoot, once, what was it? Heat Wave 98, yeah. That's what, cause we were, I mean, we never really got the show. Like, we would just kind of catch it on the internet or whatever and just kind of hear about it.
It wasn't no internet back then. Shoot, what we talking?
How did we, I'm trying to think.
It was on, I think we went up to Philly for that basketball tournament that one time, and we saw we stayed in the hotel. It was just our whole youth league basketball team, and we was in Philly at the hotel, and we saw on the TV they were showing ECW highlights, like whatever.
Yeah, that's the first time we saw that. And
at the time, we was already, having 20 matches on the trampoline a day, and then we ended up building the ring in the backyard and all that, and then we seen that, we said, oh, this, like, didn't know this existed, and then just,
Then we ordered Heatwave 98. Then we started going up to the arena all the time just to watch, arena shows. And and shoot, they used to run, pretty close to us. Like Dover, Delaware was only an hour, and they ran there a few times. And I remember right before the Dudleys went to WWE, they had a show in Dover, and then the next night they had one more at the arena, which was their last show or whatever. But the show at Dover, the night before their last show, I remember they were at Dover, and I had a big sign that said Dudley's equal sellouts, and I was just holding it up. And I remember Bubba Ray and Devon, man, I was probably 15 years old, and they came up to me, and started cussing me out right in front of everybody, man. And it was me, Mark, and Dad, and then Dad stepped in, you ain't gonna talk to my boy like that type thing. And I like that. I wonder if they got a DVD of that somewhere.
I'm sure I've got it somewhere. I've been going through some fan cam tapes, so I'm going to be on the lookout.
It was at Wesley College. I was holding up the sign that said Dudley's equal sellouts because I was a huge Dudley fan, man. And when they went to WWE, that just broke my heart.
Now, talk about the backyard stuff. How did the official training staff happen? Where'd you go for that?
Well, first, we had built the ring in the backyard, and we'd have matches. Dad would be the referee, so we were young. I was 14 and he was 15 at the time. When we started training, I was 15 and he was 16. But so we were just trying to find somebody who would train us, and we sent it down to some league. I think down here in North or South Carolina, one of them.
Yeah, I can't remember what the league was called.
Sent a tape to him and said, "We're 14 and 15, but we really want to train. Blah blah blah. Could y'all work with us?" And it sent us back and said, no, we're not going to be able to. You guys are too young, but your referee there, we're really interested in using him. And talk about Dad.
Well, everybody saw potential in Papa Briscoe, apparently, from get-go.
Yeah, but we were just like, because we would film the stuff in the backyard, and then we send it to schools, but everybody said, we can't train you until you're 18. But then finally we met up with Jim Kettner up in Wilmington, who runs the Super 8 and everything. We went to the Super 8 is actually how we met him, and then just talking to him and everything, and he's like, yeah, we'll train y'all, even though, just 15 and 16, but he started, Glenn Osborne was the head trainer at the time, and so we started going up there. It was a 2-hour drive from our house to the wrestling school. So I remember being 15 and 16, we'd go to school all day. After school, we'd have football practice from like 3 to 5. We'd leave practice at 5 o'clock. Wrestling started at 7, so football practice get over at 5, drive 2 hours up to the wrestling school and wrestle from 7 to 10, do the training and get back home midnight or whatever and get up. And we did that probably 2-3 times a week, just when we was getting started. But
well, take me through that first match. What was the first match? Your debut match?
Oh man, it was May 20th, 2000, and they were billing it as me versus Mark, and oh man,
and I had to be maybe, I don't know, 150 pounds, long, lanky, goofy looking, but when my music hit, you'd have thought it was Satan come through the ring, just because of what the music was. I don't know what it was. Some mess that I wouldn't even listen to no more, like Full Devil Jacket or something. Like dum, 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 dum. And I'm sure all the people are like, "What in the world? Who's this gonna be?" And then this little stick figure walks out.
we both had on singlets, and we didn't have no boots or nothing, or wrestling shoes. We just had like big old tennis shoes on, big black tennis shoes, and the singlets. So we get in there, it looked like it's gonna be a one-on-one match, and Mr. Ooh La La and Mozart Fontaine, they came down and started running their mouth to us, and look at these young boys, and so it ended up turning into a tag match, and that was our first match, me and Mark versus Mozart Fontaine, Mr. Ooh La La, and I'll never forget, man, we won the match with a big double moonsault. I forgot how we got them down, but we bumped them both down, and then I got on the second rope, and he got on the second rope, like opposite each other in the rings, and we looked back. And we both hit the moonsault at the same time. This back when I could do a backflip, and and that's so we.
Yep. And then Charlie Haas and Russ Haas ran in and whooped us.
Yep. And right after the match, Charlie and Russ ran in on us, and we started the program right up with the Haas brothers on our first match.
Really, because they were pretty established at that time, and they were probably maybe a few months away from going.
Yeah. They were just.
They beat up on us for their Kettner helped them just fine tune everything and refine it. Like when they were getting signed and stuff, and they were doing all that fine tuning on us, and they'd be beating the mess out of us.
I remember we go up there, man, and train with them, and they were just like practicing tag moves and stuff just for when they got up there. And man, they gave us a double drop kick, and they were just trying to get it, spot on. But damn, they must have did it, man, like 24 times. And I mean, they was just rocking us. And shoot, just 15, 16-year-old little kids and the big old, because they was Charlie and Russ, they some big boys, man, and they were just, I just never forget, man, just kept shooting us off double drop kick, shooting us off double drop kick, and just rocking us, man. But yeah.
But if you're gonna have a first program and start learning, that's a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it was.
Kind of lucked out there.
We did, man, and because we used to, the families come to the show and everything, and so we started getting into it with the Haas brothers, and I remember, Mom ended up jumping the guardrail one of the shows, and Charlie gripped her up and gave her the spladle, and then Russ came off the top rope and they gave her the spladle elbow drop, and
Shoot, it was like because we used to have like 40 or 50 people come up from our hometown, and they're just wild rednecks. When they did that, it was about to be a riot.
When they dropped that elbow on Mom, they was getting ready to start a riot up there.
I bet.
But man, it was we got thrown right into the wolves, ready to start, man.
Now, did you wrestle for anybody else other than Kettner at that time?
No. Then we started
MCW was the next.
MCW was the next
at
one,
high school.
And we started just wrestling for him. He was the next one, and then CZW. Trying to think how we.
I remember how we got in contact with him, but I remember our first CZW match. It was me, Jay, and Fast Eddie Valentine versus Trent Acid in a 3-on-1 handicap, and Trent just smoked us.
Trent beat all three of us.
like it was daggone the Incredible Hulk. I mean, he destroyed us, and that's how we. Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember from the podcast there was some sort of falling out with Kettner, and then you did some sort of show in your hometown.
It was something like that, man. But I can't even. It was. It was. I mean,
it's some old dumb mess.
But
misunderstanding.
Now I must say, CZW early 2000s is a major guilty pleasure of mine. And you guys were a major part of that.
Hey, I'm wearing the shirt, man.
I'm glad you did. So bring all that up, because that to me is I love watching those. It was such a weird atmosphere and such a mixture of people. And then here's the Briscoe brothers wearing amateur singlets, doing some of the craziest stuff ever.
Yeah.
And one of the memories that sticks with me, of course, is the best of the best. The first one where you two wrestled each other, and just incredible match. Can you take me through just that experience?
I just remember because we were real big into All Japan back then, watching like Misawa and Kawada and all them boys, man, and we just wanted to wrestle just like them. And man,
mid-90s All Japan, early 90s, mid-90s.
Going back, man, and watching that match, like we did so much stuff. Like, good Lord, I can't believe. I mean, just that was ridiculous. But it was. I guess it was kind of like our you know, kind of like a breakout match. Like when people, you know, I mean, we did a million things, but like the people were kind of into it, and they started, you know, I guess they got a kick out of it. So, but man, looking back at that match, it was just.
Well, you think about it too. You're young kids.
Oh yeah.
Your body isn't fully developed yet. You're still growing.
Yeah,
You know, you break a bone here, and then you're messed up for life, and your body can't absorb the punishment probably like you can now.
Yeah, and man, used to do and I remember Mark gave me the, you know, I was standing on the apron, and he does the deal where he runs in the ring and catches me with the Rana, like off the
Not
apron
that
to the
time,
floor.
though.
Oh, we did on that, mate?
No, I just came right off the top.
Oh
rope.
yeah, jumped right off the top rope while I was on the apron right to the floor. Used to do, oh man, we took so many dumb bumps through our career, man. It's it's crazy.
But almost kind of paled in comparison to some of the other stuff they were doing on the show, like
Oh,
Lobo,
yeah.
you know.
Lobo,
Yeah, Lobo, yeah, man. I mean, Rick Blade,
Oh,
he used to jump off. Shoot.
Dude, I remember in Smyrna, Delaware, he jumped off a fire truck and just splatted on the, right on the parking lot. I mean, he missed.
He missed, and then just got back up and lost.
Yep, splatted.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Splatted just hopped right up. They were, and Ruckus was there, man. He
Oh
was,
yeah.
You know, that was back when he was fat, man. And he was doing all his flips and everything. Like, damn, look at this little fat boy doing all his flips. But, yeah, the old Sewell, New Jersey, man, that was, there was definitely some, there was some shows back then, man.
Mm-hmm.
Wife Beater and all them boys.
Yeah, like Nick Mondo.
Mondo, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we did the most contrived thing ever with Nick Mondo because at the best of the best, it was the first round was three-way matches, and then you had to win the three-way. Then or how did it work?
I think it was like 3 ways. You advance, singles match. And
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
Finals.
The three-way, whoever the first one got pinned was, then the other two guys would just wrestle each other in the next round. But it was me versus Mark versus Nick Mondo, and we did the dumbest thing ever where Nick Mondo was in the ring, and there was 2 chairs in there. Me and Mark were climbing up to the top rope, and Lord knows how we got into this predicament in the first place, but Nick Mondo just picked the chairs up like this and just put them by his ears, and me and Mark both jumped off the top rope with, I think it was spin kicks or something, and like spun kicked the chairs and like, you know, gave me the sandwich with the chairs, and it just, oh man.
I don't know how the world you remember that. And
That
Dewey
was,
Donovan, our old manager.
Yeah.
The dude.
The dude.
Uh-huh.
I remember when we parted ways with Dew, we got up on the top rope and we had Dew in the double rock bottom, the double sit down rock bottom through the table on the top rope on Dew, and then got up, and I think Jay was probably on the microphone telling Dew for whatever reason we had done that, and I'm sitting there and I feel a little trickle like right here, and I look down, there's blood there. Like, what in the world? What's that from? And I follow the blood up my arm all the way up to right there. The table leg had stuck up in my arm, and when I get all the way up, there's a hole. I can see my bone, the muscle, the fat. There's a string of fat hanging like down to here. And I was like, I didn't even know there was nothing wrong. I was like, man, that felt kind of weird. And then
I remember it was vain because we were supposed to wrestle another match that night, and like we went back to the back, and the doctor looked at it, was like, you might better not wrestle because if you pop that vein right there, you're gonna bleed out and die.
he said there'll be no way to stop the bleeding. Yep.
So,
All right.
But also too, like CZW seemed to benefit from the closing of like ECW. It seemed like because as soon
Yeah.
as they close, like
Yep.
you get the super crazies,
Mhm.
and I think even Tommy Dreamer did a spot.
Yeah.
Like what were some of the guys coming? And I think they booked people like Hoovy. And
Yeah,
just, like, really
yeah.
randomly.
Yeah.
And they like took it like once they started doing them light tubes, man, like that was kind of the next level of extreme
Ultraviolet.
or whatever. But yeah, because they kind of picked up right where ECW left off, and they just bumped it up just a notch with them light tubes, man. And
You know what I think? When ECW went out, it was like a split. There was the CZW split and the Ring of Honor split. Like the Harvey D, Jerry Lynn went with that whole style went to Ring of Honor, and then the Extreme went to CZW, and it kind of, I mean, they were both right there in Philly and South Jersey. I mean, right there.
I never thought of it that way, but that makes a lot of sense because it seems like ECW had a good grasp of all of that.
Mhm.
If
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
gone,
Yep.
something had to fulfill those people's appetites.
Yeah.
and they kind of, instead of coming together for something, they kind of went apart.
Yep.
Right. But that
The
brings
great
up
split of the great Northeast split.
the wrestling civil war, if you will.
Yeah.
But that brings up the point of Ring of Honor, the very start beginnings, the very very early. So, interesting concept to begin with, and it had a good buzz about it. What are your early memories of that very early Ring of Honor?
Well, I mean, just the first show, man. Like just looking at the talent that was on the first show, and
Eddie Guerrero. Shoot.
it was just and like every match, like the people were there for every match, because I mean every match was a good match. There's a lot of real good workers on there, man. And the main event was Danielson, Low-Key, and Chris Daniels in a three-way. I remember them boys. I mean, they just tore the house down. And like after that show, like the buzz, it was like I think we got something here. And Gabe, man, he was just so so passionate about it, and just his booking, and just how every little thing, I mean, the whole show, like I say, I mean, there wasn't a bad match. Like I think it started with the Super 8, man, on the Northeast. Like the Super 8, once the Super 8 started getting big, and that's I think Ring of Honor kinda, the year that Danielson won the Super 8, I think he beat Low-Key or whatever. Then I think they kinda,
I think a big part of it back then with the first Ring of Honor shows right in Philly at the Murphy Rec Center, like that, the crowd that was there was a fresh ECW crowd. Like these people just a couple months ago were in the ECW arena going crazy, and like the crowd made it. Like that environment in the Murphy Rec. You got to think. I mean, there wasn't no whatever smartphones. I mean, this was right before technology changed the world, and like wrestling crowds were just so much more like on fire, especially right there in Philly. And daggone them early Ring of Honor shows, they just had the feel of an ECW arena show just from the crowd.
and people were, and as far as like the indies go, like the guys were like getting real, conscious about like putting like a match together, like a real solid match, top to bottom. And I think that kind of started with the Super 8, and like people just having real solid matches, and then it kind of came out, and then Ring of Honor, the whole show was, each match was just real solid, and it started being about work rate. You know what I mean? Like,
because you couldn't just be like, we'll call it in the ring.
No.
We got to put a little bit more thought into
right.
the ends
Like,
of it.
yeah, people really started caring about putting on a good match, and that's that's I think that's why Ring of Honor caught fire like it did, man, because everybody was just so, they wanted to do a good job out there.
I may be a little fuzzy on the history of it. Did you guys work for CZW and Ring of Honor at the same time?
Yep. And
because I know a lot of people didn't do that. I think there was like a split there.
yeah, we were working for them at the same time, and then
No, we weren't. We were with CZW, and then we had to choose between CZW.
and we had wrestled some ROH shows. It came, there was a date that CZW and ROH were both running like head to head. We pretty much had to make the choice, and we went with ROH. And daggone, I remember calling Zandig. I mean, Zandig's my boy, and he weren't too happy, that we chose ROH. But
Well, why'd you choose?
It just seemed like the thing to do, And man, Zandig's the man. I mean, Zandig, he'd give you the ball, you know what I mean, and if you want to run with it, but he'd give you the opportunity, and so I mean, I ain't got nothing bad to say about John Zandig, man, but we just felt like it was either CZW or ROH, and it seemed like ROH was I mean, we just chose ROH, man.
Well, maybe because it seems like they're going to be more of a tag team where they've got their niche, and unless you're going to start doing light tubes and
Right.
kind of seems
It's
like
all about that split, like.
You pick that side in the wrestling civil war.
Yep.
It's like the Matrix, like what pill you gonna take here?
Exactly. But John Zandig, you're right. Exactly. He really worked hard at getting people over.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
And he gave you guys an opportunity to go to Japan at a very young age.
Yep.
Kind of take me how like I remember going on a church trip to New Orleans and sneaking away from the group for about a couple hours, and that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being in a country where other people spoke a different language.
Yeah.
Tell me what that was like.
And we were, what were you, 16 when we got
I was 17.
17.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 17 to 18, man, going over and wrestling in Japan was, it was crazy, man. I mean,
I ain't gonna lie, like, I thought it was a real cool experience, but I didn't really enjoy being in Japan that time. But then years later, when we went back with Noah, like that first or second tour, like, man, I really like it over here. Like, once you get accustomed to it. But at first, it's like them just dropping you off on Mars, and there's a bunch of Martians that you can, try to communicate with, but you can't, don't speak the same language, definitely, and it's like a different kind of culture, and it's just, yeah.
And your only chaperone is John Zandu. So you're basically kind of watching over you guys. Like, what were some of the matches with that first trip? Because it was Big Japan. Correct?
yeah, Big Japan, yep. Let's see. We were wrestling with Jun Kasai. We never did none of the, we never did no deathmatch stuff on that, or did we?
No, it ain't.
No, not on the first tour. It was,
Sakimoto was on there.
damn, I can't even
Ben
remember.
K. I can't hardly remember.
Yeah, I can't even remember who we were working with, man. Yeah. I mean, we were just, cause Justice Payne was over there too, and we were doing 6-mans with him and everything, and
I can't remember. I mean, I can't remember hardly no matches.
yeah, I can't remember what we was doing over there, man. I just know we was young and
There's one match I believe it's on YouTube, but I think the dude's name was Fantastic, and I don't know, but I think it's on the YouTube, and shoot, good lord.
oh, but he tied you up.
Yeah, my man tied me up in a knot and then rolled me over and like on my belly.
That was our first match in Japan. Like, first time in Japan. Like, I mean, right in the beginning of the match, Mark's in there with this dude, and he ties him in a knot and just rolls him over on it. And he can't, like, he's so long and lanky that he can't even get out of the knot that this dude tied him in. Like, the first time, and this was our first match in Japan. And I remember just, like,
Right in Corrigan Hall, my man rolled me over and I'm like in a little cube, and he just walked away. And I'm sitting there.
I remember
trying my
just
hardest.
standing on the apron. I was thinking, is Mark gonna be able to get out of this little ball that he's in here? Because I mean, I could see him struggling. Like, he really had him tied up, man, and he was so skinny and lanky that it was crazy, man. Very first time. That was nice way to break us in over there, I guess.
I bet. I'm sure you were looking to make that tag in when you saw
I was just hoping he'd get out the damn knot.
Now back to Ring of Honor. What are some early memories of those Ring of Honor? Like, you brought up the roster. When you look back at that now, if somebody tried to run that show today,
Yeah.
I mean, the payroll on that's got to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I mean, people like Amazing Red.
Right.
You know, and even like I think a team that you spent quite a bit of time with in CZW and other places was the SITs.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about your memory with the SITs.
boys.
Man, I mean, we were because them boys, they were down for anything, and we used to be the same way. And oh man,
we just got there and go a million miles an hour.
Yep. Yeah, it'd just be a sprint, man. To it, like that style that we used to do back then. And they perfected it, man. Because it was they had a whole group of them. Brian XL and Quiet Storm,
Red Joel,
shoot, they used to do them 6-mans, and
Chris Devine.
like, nobody saw that type of wrestling, man, until them boys started doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
man.
you guys were paired against each other quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, is like they were very hot for a very long time
Yeah.
and were going everywhere. And you were in the mix with them, and nothing against them or whatever, but I feel like your status in wrestling now is a little bit higher. It seems like they kind of faded off.
Yeah,
What do you think caused that?
Well, Jose, I mean, he don't even wrestle anymore,
Yeah.
It was Joel and Jose, and younger brother Jose, he don't wrestle anymore now. Will, the younger than Jose, he's Joel's partner and everything. But I mean,
what do you think happened there? Like, they were like
they got their thing in they're doing their thing back in Brooklyn though. I mean, they got
they're
the
back
school
together,
and
and I just saw them in Puerto Rico and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it makes me think about you'd see them just everywhere. And I
Yeah.
remember some people even saying it's like maybe they were overexposed. Like you saw them so much.
Yeah.
It might have been,
Maybe,
man. I mean,
I
yeah,
don't
they
know.
were everywhere.
Them boys still go. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's for sure. So, but you think back to like some of those people like early Paul London, early Brian Danielson, Christopher Daniels. I mean, and you think about that locker room. Was there anybody that?
AJ.
Yeah, I mean, you think about that early locker room. Was there anybody that just kind of stuck out in your mind, like, oh, this guy's gonna be a star, or you know, or
I mean,
something
they pretty much all were, you know, like the whole.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, everybody worked together so well. Like, I mean, the whole locker room was, you know, everybody was just out there trying to help each other. You know, it was just, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not really one that really stuck out. It was just pretty much everybody. I mean, just being in that locker room just had a feel, you know, different feel than being in other locker rooms. Like you could tell, like this is a talented group here, and I mean, everybody just worked together, and I mean, yeah,
so many different combinations. What made it, you know, always made it so fresh.
Well, there was a time there you kind of took some time off from Ring of Honor, and you didn't return until the 4th anniversary show. What happened there?
Ooh, man, that was when we was talking about that downward spiral earlier on in the interview. That was kind of the culmination of it right there, man. It was daggone, we was just doing some dumb stuff.
I
just
got in a
life
motorcycle
general.
accident, and then, you know,
About how old were you then? Probably early 20s?
It was no, I was not quite that old, because that was 2004, the end of 04. So I was 19. I was 19 at that point. Got in a motorcycle accident, and then we took a show off, which ended up being taking a year and a half off. And during that time period there, that's when I got all them DUIs. That's when we was drinking and, you know, drugging and bad, just stuff that, you know, young man days, young man ways. Nothing, just, yep.
Yeah, that was some bad times there, man.
Well, and I think everybody goes through it, and something that I always say when we get young people come in and they want to train here at Highspots is, you know, we get people that come in at 18 and they start training, and then you know, you're thrown into a older man's business.
Mm-hmm.
But you still got to go through all these things. Luckily, I went through a lot of that myself too, the 19 and 20s and those periods before I got into it. But it's almost like you have to get in so early, but you're not mature enough to handle it.
Right, yep.
And the thing is, wrestling is very much reputation and perception.
Yep.
Right.
And you get this reputation, all it wants to do is party. Well, that's what every 19-year-old wants to
Yeah,
do.
right.
And you're in a
right.
perfect environment to party.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like you have to get in young to get the exposure that you need, but then you're not mature enough to handle it.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
And it's almost like you have to grow up and then rebuild your whole personality. And a
Yeah.
lot of guys haven't come back from that.
Right.
A lot of guys start when they're 18, they get over a little bit, they get something going, they start partying, and then they just kind of trail off.
Yeah. Yep.
What was the thing that brought you guys back that kept
Well,
you from not
shoot,
trailing
man.
off?
Well, because I mean, like, you know, after we did the bike accident and everything, we took that time off. It was just, you know, I mean, we've always worked regular jobs, but we were doing a job then, man. It was just so boring, man. We were vaccinating chickens. Like every day, we just get up, do the same thing, go get in the van, and drive from farm to farm to farm. Put these big backpack sprayers on and go in and spray all the chickens with this shit to vaccinate them. And you know, just doing that same thing every day. And we're like, man, this is kind of getting old, you know. I mean, you know, we're getting paid, we're making a little bit of money, but shoot, we could go back to wrestling, and you know, I mean, the money's kind of balanced out, and then we wouldn't have to get in this stupid van every day and do the same thing. And it just kind of got, you know, just kind of, we got tired of doing that. I guess just working that job and figured, we'll, you know, give wrestling another shot, man. And so we tried to get back in shape and everything. Because I mean, we shoot, boy. We was down there. You know, we was, but yeah, I mean, we just got tired of it, man. Just got tired of the same old thing. So figured giving wrestling another shot, and yeah.
Now, I don't know if this was during the time period or not, but I'll bring it up at this point in time. There's a match on YouTube that happened, I believe, in like a pea gravel parking lot.
The return match.
I don't know if it was during that time or not, but it's just like just down the road. I saw. I'll tell you this. I've wrestled you guys before, and I saw that match before I wrestled you, and I remember going, I'm going to step in the ring with these guys. What you did to him and what you did to him, you guys are brothers. You don't know me from Adam. So I can only imagine what the hell you're going to do to me. If you did that to your brother and you did that to your brother, what are they going to do to me? That was my thought.
That was our first match back, man. You know, during that dark time of our life, man, and we had the night before, like we ain't been like that match, we ain't been to sleep that whole night. You know, we was up partying the whole, and that morning I remember, you know, being, I think it was like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I was just still up, you know, all wired up, amped up on some dumb shit, and so I took the dog for a walk, all jacked up, and I saw this guy when I was walking say, "Yeah, you know, they got a wrestling show down at Memories today." I was like, "Oh, really?" And, you know, Memories was the bar where I was at. And so I went back and told Martin. He was still all wired up, too, from the night before. And it was an afternoon show, and we was both all wired up still, you know. Just had a huge party the night before. Like, shit, we might as well go wrestle. So we just went and showed up and like, hey, you mind if we wrestled? Yeah, I mean, we were still... And yeah, so
you were in your street clothes. Each one of you,
yeah,
wearing the John Cena gear, jorts and shoes.
Yeah, man. We was that was just like the end of that party. You know what I mean? When you got a big old party and it goes over to the next day, and then it ended up me and Mark having the match and everything, and then it was just one great big party, man.
You'll see on YouTube what happened later on in the show.
Oh
man. He got so drunk up he
man, I was daggone. Yeah,
the main event was like a big huge death match, and he comes out just drunk, man,
I don't know what the hell I was doing. It was
standing there the whole match. I'm sorry. At one point, because they were using light tubes, and one of the light tubes broke. It was a small little piece like this, and the one dude was down selling in the corner, and James got a drink in one hand, and he grabs that little piece of light tube and like walks over. Just cracks him on the back of his head. He doesn't even know he's there. And the dude's just selling in the corner, James in the corner.
You walked in at somebody's match and him with the light tube?
Well, he was ringside the whole time
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah. What's the best seat in the house?
Yeah, for some reason. And then, did you throw up right at the ring?
I threw it right in the ring. I remember the guys wrestling, like they, you know, the brawl spilled out into the crowd or whatever, and I was just sitting out, and I was just like, I was on the apron, I think it was, and I remember just looking out, and Mark was like in the crowd, like watching me, just like shaking his head, and yeah, I don't know why the hell I went back out there, man, but.
You weren't done. You didn't beat him up enough.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was possible.
Balls Mahoney glued my head shut that day. Yep.
That was definitely that was something there.
Yep.
That's something for sure. Now, we can't go through all of your matches in Feuds and Ring of Honor, but I'm going to throw some stuff at you. There's probably some focal points that if they were going to look at the Briscoe brothers in Ring of Honor, they need to be called attention to this. What about your memories with facing Punk and Cabana in Chicago?
Oh man, that was I just remember the crowd being so hot, man, and yeah, we had the straps in, and you know we dropped them to them in Chicago, and they were, man, I mean that was
hometown boys, and
That was first time in Chicago, wasn't it?
That was first time in Chicago, yep. And yeah, I just remember the crowd just being so hot, and I was like, yeah, that just yeah, mainly the crowd, man, just how into it they were, and yeah, and it ended up being a hell of a match and everything, and shit, we dropped the straps, they went crazy, and yeah.
What about your memories wrestling each other in England?
Oh,
I don't remember the end of that match. I know that much.
yeah,
I do not remember the end of that match.
Was it on the Rana?
I think when I tried to jump off Todd Sinclair back and give him a give him a rhino while he's on the apron and onto the floor. There was absolutely nowhere near enough room to be doing that. The daggone guardrail was about that close to the ring. It was nowhere near enough room, but
that was kind of almost like the memory show, man, where we wrestled each other. Cause when you're overseas in England, we had a little party you gotta party it up when you're overseas, man, and I just remember being just so hungover. I was like, well, at least I'm wrestling more, kind of know what it's gonna do out there, and but we just whooped the shit out of each other. And it was all right.
What about memories working with Steen and Generico?
That was
favorite, best,
everybody
best time of my life.
Everybody references that time as far as like tag team wise as just being.
That was the feud there, man. That was
the funnest I've ever had in my life.
Cause them boys, they were just waiting for the opportunity, that type of opportunity, man. And shoot, once Gabe put us together, it was just off to the races, man. Cause we, all four of us just willing to do, just help each other out there, and we did some crazy stuff, man, and just took care of each other and everything. But yeah, that was just the opportunity, that we all needed, really, man. And it was just, right place, right time.
Especially that ladder war.
Yeah.
Everybody referenced that, and pretty much that's the reputation of ladder war, and they could book Briscoe's ladder war against anybody now, and they just think back to that one time.
Yeah.
Take me back to that match.
Well, the whole feud, man, because I remember, actually, my favorite match of, my favorite match of the whole feud was the Boston Street fight that we had, where we were just going crazy, man, and we had cage matches and everything. Yeah, it just, the culmination was the big ladder war, and that was a crazy match. We had
first time we ever got to do a ladder match, which we had always wanted to do, of course. Well, first time we ever did an actual ladder match where something hanging from the ceiling,
Yeah, and it was just we had a whole bunch of ladders, a whole bunch of tables, and we had all the plunder that we needed, man. So so we went pretty crazy with it.
That hot crowd out in Chicago out there. That crowd's always
that Chicago Ridge crowd, man.
But also at the end of that match, I believe it was you that was strung up, and Jimmy Jacobs did the whole promo. What were your thoughts? Yeah. Being hung up there for that long.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was because I really couldn't tell how much I was bleeding. Like once I was going up, because I got the color or whatever, and I didn't know how what it was gonna look like, because I remember the visual we were going for was kind of raining down blood on Jimmy, and with his white coat on and everything. And I remember just finally, once I got up there, I could kind of like look down, and I just saw the blood like kind of running off my head, and it was dripping on him and everything. I was like, well, I guess we got the visual we were going for. And then the longer he talked, man, the longer I stood up there, I was I was ready for him to take me down, definitely. When they did, man, I was starting to get a little lightheaded and everything, but that's been my thing, man. They came up, asked us if we were willing to do the angle and everything, and I'm always try to be a team player, and I guess they got the visual they were looking for, and it was pretty. I was definitely ready to come down though when I did.
Any concerns about being strung up there? Because we all think about Owen Hart and all these other things.
Well, because we practiced before the show. They picked me up just to show me what it's gonna feel like and everything, and because I wasn't really that high or nothing. It was just, I think it was just the loss of blood, and
But if you fall, you're not gonna have time to position yourself so you can take a back bump. You're going head first.
Yeah, well, I kind of felt like because they had my feet tied up real good, man. Because that
so
was
you felt
one of the
confident
things.
in
Oh
being
yeah,
strung up like that.
yeah. The whatever that little attachment they had.
There was some guy there when we first got there that showed us, all right, this is how you guys want to do this. Like some random dude.
Yeah, some dude, man. He knew exactly how to string me up for that. Like but I was nice and tight and secure in there, man. So yeah, I wasn't worried about falling. I was just worried about losing all my blood, I guess. But
Another group you got to work with was Claudio and Hero. How were they to work?
man, I mean, awesome. You know what I mean?
Great. Yep. Such a good, good tag.
They
team.
they were so on fire, man. Just and yeah, I mean, they were just,
And I liked how we could have matches with them, like we would have matches with them where it was just strictly in the ring, whatever you want to call it, like a work rate type match, and then we had, like in Canada, we had the big blood and plunder and whatnot, and we could do either one with them, and it was either way, it always seemed to be.
and they did so many cool spots and everything, man. Like such a, like a good tag team, and we fit really well with them, man, and just them boys is good.
Well, and you definitely had like several, like you said, you got the one where it's blood and plunder, that was very technical, and of course there's one that's very entertaining, and one that comes to mind is the 6-man with Papa Briscoe.
Yeah.
How does Papa Briscoe fit in? How does that come about?
Man.
You go to them, they go to you. How's that all work?
Shoot, I just remember because they did the angle on the TV taping at the arena where Hero came down there and was running his mouth to Dad, and Dad hopped over the rail and gave him the slat. And I remember before the show, Jim Cornette was kind of showing Dad how to work a slap and everything, and he really couldn't get it that good. Like, he was trying. And then so Adam Pearce comes up today, he's like, just slap the shit out of him. And that's what he did, man.
he slapped him.
Yeah.
Big man, he slapped him.
Yeah, he slapped the shit out of Hero, man. And then, Hero
Hero
came back and
him.
rocked him with that elbow. But, that was a good one there, man. And then, and we still talk about it with Dad, man, because when we worked him in New York in the 6-man, and Dad came down there, and so we all took our shirts off or whatever, getting ready to wrestle. And as soon as Dad took his shirt off, the crowd started chanting, "Put your shirt on!" And we got a good kick out of that. And and I remember Dad jumped off the top for the Doomsday at the end, and Dad had a hard time because we had a ring. We got a ring back at Dad's house in the barn. And Dad, he had a tough time climbing to the top rope. He's like, I don't know if I could do it. Then so finally our mom, I guess she was getting tired of him saying that he couldn't do it. So she just climbed up there and said, "Look, Mike, this is how you do it." Mom just climbed up to the top rope. And then so I guess Dad figured, well, she could do it. I guess I better get my ass up there. So that's how he ended up climbing up there.
Well, I'll definitely say this: your dad knows how to work an apron.
Oh yeah, man.
So that's obviously genetic. I'm assuming.
Yeah, Dad. I mean, he's always fired up about something.
Also, Haas and Benjamin, they came in and stuff like that. It seemed like at first it was gonna be like a one-shot, but then they kind of stuck around and you got an opportunity to wrestle them. What were your thoughts on wrestling them?
Shoot, I mean, we learned a lot, man, with those guys. Just from them coming from the environment that they've been in, just slowing things down a lot, and
seemed like almost kind of like a finishing school. Like you've built this whole experience. They had their opportunity up there in that environment, and now they're giving you that knowledge to use. So you can take that next step.
Like work smarter, not harder type thing.
Yeah, and because hell with that, remembering 50 million damn things to do out there, man. Like it's so much easier, and they really helped us along. Like, not calling 1,000 things.
Love them days with the SATs, but wouldn't go back for nothing, you know what I mean?
'Cause, it just got to be letting your emotions come out, during the match. Like, who gives a shit how cool that spot was that you just did, as long as you got the emotion, that's the main thing. And they helped us along with that and everything. And it was...
Somebody said it just the other week. I can't remember who it was, but like the fans, they can watch you do whatever hip toss, suplex, but they can see it, but they don't make a personal relation with it. But then, like, whatever your emotions are, if you're hurting, if you're whatever, they can relate to the emotions. They can't relate to the moves.
Yeah,
you know?
they can't relate that. They've never taken a suplex before, but when you get up and like, shit, the back's hurting. You know what I mean? Like they can relate to that pain. Like they felt.
If you're
pain.
reaching out to them, like you're like, oh, come on! I would just want you to feel better and get up and win. They can relate to that, because they got that actually. It's a feeling.
Mm-hmm. They helped us out a lot with that.
Well, another few that when I was working camera for Ring of Honor that I remember very distinctly was the All Night Express feud that you had, and I remember filming it and going through it when you guys kind of almost turned heel in a sense on them, and I remember it kind of spilled out, and I remember thinking back in my mind, I'm like, well, this is a mistake because the roles should have been reversed.
Yeah.
Like you should have been the baby faces, they should have been the heel, because it seems like they were being groomed as a upper echelon heel team, but it almost kind of flipped. But I don't know if anybody could really hate you that much, but they definitely got behind All Night Express there towards the end.
Right.
I would say. Especially after the Atlanta mess.
Yeah.
Where I must say, Jay, I knew when it was a good Ring of Honor show when I'd wake up the next day and have your blood stuck in my arm.
Oh, man.
So,
oh man, I'm sorry.
Like especially that Atlanta one.
Yeah.
Take me through that match, because that match is, if anybody hasn't seen it, that match is probably one of my favorite matches to watch ever. For sure.
Well, man, I was just again I had a little hangover going for that match, and I guess it might have been all the beer from the night before, but daggone the blood was flowing that day, man, and I guess I just had just the right amount of beer the night before to make it.
I do remember at one point in time, and I don't know if it's quite on the DVD, but I definitely know there was a stream when you're yelling at Rhett Titus coming out of your head as he's down. You're screaming at him, and blood is running right at him.
It was. Oh man.
Like you've always been very good at that. Like you're no slouch yourself, Mark, but when it comes to color, you're top five.
I like the I mean, if you're gonna get color, you might as well get some color, But well, I think maybe that was probably a little bit too much. That was a little selfish of me. But see, I didn't know. I really didn't know it was gonna come out like that, man. It was just like I say, it must be just the beer from the night before, because when if you get a real good hangover, man, you kind of got that throb going. And I kind of had that throb in my head, man. And then once I got the color, like it was kind of still throbbing. It was each throb, it would just come out more and more. And but yeah, that was a little selfish of me, man. I probably shouldn't have played quite so much.
Well, since we're talking about the All Night Express, what are your thoughts on the whole Kenny King situation?
Hey, I'm proud of my boy. Yeah, the whole.
Shitty situation. How it happened, but. There ain't no reason to. I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah.
I mean, Kenny's my boy, man. And
Yeah.
I mean, he made what decision he felt he had to make, and I ain't got nothing bad to say, man. It is what it is.
I just list off just very briefly, because like I said, I could spend all day on the people you wrestled in Ring of Honor. Is there any ones that I didn't bring up that you'd like to talk about in Ring of Honor that you think people should really remember, this feud or this match or this moment as a tag team in Ring of Honor that you guys are proud of?
Daggone, shoot, I don't want. If I start naming names, I don't want to leave anybody out.
I don't know how that is, but of ones, is there one particular like, oh, this was real good, and you didn't bring it up? I might have glazed over.
Probably my favorite match was probably with Roddy and Aries in England. That was the first time in England for Ring of Honor, and that crowd was just bananas, just crazy. And I mean, shoot, I thought that I really enjoyed that there. I mean, just the atmosphere and whatnot. And the match ended up, falling in place, real nicely. That one there, and then the first one with the machine guns, I like that one too. I didn't realize at the time that it went so long, but I think it ended up being like 35 minutes or something. But I couldn't have told you that while we were doing it, during the match. But those were two of mine.
Was there any like feud or angle or anything or anything in particular that you did that you thought was going to do better, but it didn't? Like you had such high expectations for, and it just didn't deliver. Was there anything you're like, we kind of missed it on this one?
Coming out of the feud with Steen and Generico, right into the one with Necro and Tyler and Jimmy, the Age of the Fall, it was almost like we couldn't.
I think I mean, we hit him with such a bang with the hanging and the blood, like it was. I mean, it was.
Where you go
started, next? Yeah, like where do you go after that, man? And I think we just set the bar too high right there from the start. Like, I mean, you really can't top that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that might have. Yeah, I mean, it was, it was what it was, though.
Well, you guys have been there since day one, and you've seen just about every management change there is. I mean, even from the very earliest time from the split of the RF video relationship.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts and memories of that? Because that was a big deal. Like, there's a lot of people worried the company was going to close. Or
Kerry Silken, man, God bless him. He saved us, man.
Kerry, and then Gabe just, I mean, took it to a whole nother level. And and Sid and Ross, I mean, everybody was. That was a real good. The Gabe regime was it. that was some good times, you know.
Yeah, Kerry saved us, man. He bailed us out.
How was Gabe to work with? Was he
man, great. I mean, the best.
Man. Got such a mind, man. He just, got one of those Booker minds, man. That, he was. I mean, that's what he's here for, man. To book wrestling.
And it seems like people talk about it, like he kept trying to outdo himself. Like, the whole idea of like one guy does a backflip, the next guy does 2 backflips, and then how you can do 10 backflips.
Yeah.
It seems like that was one criticism about him is that he kept upping the ante, and he tried to outdoing Gabe was a phrase that I heard discussed. Like Gabe trying to outdo Gabe. Do you feel like that might have been one of his criticisms that he could never?
Well, like I was just saying with the with the hanging angle, man. I mean, there's some stuff that you just can't.
You just can't top.
You just can't top it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, that's what makes Gabe Gabe. I mean, that's the beauty of it.
He found a way for quite a while.
That's the beauty of it.
Were you surprised when they let him go?
I was sad. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
surprised, but yeah,
that one. I mean, that ain't got nothing to do with. Kerry just made the call. He the one got he write the checks, so I ain't got nothing to say about it.
Were you surprised when they put Adam in that spot?
Nah, I mean,
happy.
He knows what he's doing, man.
Good working relationship with Adam.
Oh yeah.
Ever carry it over?
Oh yeah. I mean, shoot, that's a boy right there, man.
And then, were you surprised when Adam was let go?
I mean, not really surprised. I mean, it was just what it was, I mean, that I ain't in charge of none of that shit, man. I'm just here to work.
Did you see a difference from when after Adam left to Delirious?
I mean, Hunter's or Delirious, man. He's, Gabe, Pierce, and Delirious. I mean, they're all 3 great bookers. All 3 had their own style, but I mean, it's all good. And Delirious just has, man, great mind for wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good, man. It's just, we're all in it together, man. We're just trying to, we got to help out the bookers at the same time. The wrestlers got to, without good performers, man, you really can't book nothing. So, I mean, it's just a group effort, man.
Well, and I know it's hard to say one's better than the other because, that's apples and oranges. I like apples some days, sometimes I like oranges. It's whatever. But do you feel like there was one booker that maybe you complimented what you wanted to do, or did you adapt yourself to what the booker wanted you to do?
I mean, they all let us, do our thing, man. All 3 of them just let us, just do our thing, man. It was just, we just.
I wouldn't say, prefer one over the other. Just,
well, I'm not asking you. 'Cause I know that's
right,
not, because you're going to do your thing.
I see what you're saying. I mean,
no, all of them have just, we're grateful, man, because they all just gave us the opportunity to just kind of just be ourselves out
Yeah.
there. And yeah, I mean they've all, as far as with us, yeah, it's all been about the same, man.
And Cornette even took over control. The Cornette, I mean, people always talk about him having such a great mind and being a tag team guy.
Mhm.
Did he ever give you certain advice
Oh,
that you
shit,
took to heart?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Jim gave us he like the first time that we won the belts, Jim was managing us back in when was this? What year?
Shoot, that was 2004.
I think it was 04 maybe
Three,
when
maybe 03.
yeah, but I just remember he managed us, man. The first match that he managed us, he told us, he said you boys, you know, he said, why y'all, you know, we're all slumped over and everything. He said, hold your shoulders back, you know, like have a presence out there, and you know, just you know, make the people believe. You got to believe in yourself, type thing. Have the presence. He said, you know, just you got to have the look about you, man. And Jim, yeah, he gave us so much good advice, man. But I remember that was the first thing that he told us was just establishing that presence in the ring, and then
And it's very true. I remember the earlier CZW tapes. The hunched
Oh, yeah,
over,
yeah.
walk out, and like, these kids look scary.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
but then you do all this crazy, incredible
Uh-huh.
stuff. But that is very true, because if you look at those tapes now and the hunched over shows,
Yeah.
that is not the way you walk to the ring
No,
now. Just to let you know, if you haven't paid attention, that's not how you walk to the ring now.
yeah.
So you could give Cornette that honor of
Oh yeah,
teaching you that.
that was definitely Jim, man, who
Oh, yeah.
kind of broke us out of that little shell there. Yep.
Well, I mean, since we're on the whole topic of Ring of Honor and stuff like that, we're going to just kind of plow through the whole Ring of Honor thing here, in that Cornette eventually left. What are your memories of that night, that last night that he was there?
Jim's a passionate man. Jim's a passionate man.
Oh man. Oh.
God bless him. Jim's a passionate man.
Jim is the man. Jim's the man. Like daggone, I can't. Man. Jim's the man. Just put it that way.
Any have you heard anything about him coming back anytime soon? Or interest to come back?
Man, I would love to see Jim. I love Jim. Jim's one of my favorite people, man. I love Jim Cornette, man.
Yep.
Jim is the man.
I remember one time it was in New York. We were like, we're in there looking on somebody's phone, some old match with Bradshaw and Farouk versus Public Enemy, I think it was, where Bradshaw and Farouk just absolutely beat the crap out of them, and we're all sitting there gathered around the phone, and it was probably, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, however long, and the whole time Jim's sitting there waiting because he wants to talk with us about matches and stuff, but he didn't. He was just waiting for that perfect opportunity, and we're watching, and then Shelton said, I think he said something along the lines of, right before they went out, what did he say? I think he said, Farouk said, if we get fired, we get fired. I mean, I guess they knew they were gonna beat the crap out of it. Right when Jim heard that, he said, speaking of getting fired, he said, isn't that what he said? He said, come on, get over here, you know, whatever. I can't remember.
Your story fell flat.
It fell flat. Dang on. I can't remember. I apologize for
Jim's
that
a
one.
genius, man.
Genius.
Well, then of course the Lyrics took back over control, and you know, you guys have been around, like I said, since day one. Where else can the Briscoe brothers go in Ring of Honor? Jay, you obviously found out and became world champ.
Yeah.
When did you find out this was going to happen? Was this something that you were...
Well, you know.
How does this materialize?
I mean, it just kind of, you know, I had an idea that I might, you know, be getting, have the opportunity to beat Mr. Steen, and I mean, it just, I don't know, man. It just was. It is what it is. I mean, I just beat the old boy for the belt.
Yeah. I mean, you had your family there, and your family goes to the events regularly. Like,
Yeah,
they did. I've seen them at the Hammerstein Bar,
And not one of them. Yeah.
Which kind of concerns me about the city of New York, that there's a bunch of Briscoes running around later on after the show. I'm more worried about New York City, which I hate that city, but I actually am concerned about them at least a couple of times a year.
Yeah, man.
So I mean,
Well, yeah, shoot, none of the family none of them knew about what was going down or anything. So it was a surprise for everybody.
Oh, so you kept it a surprise
Yeah,
for them,
damn
so
right,
they
man.
could.
Shit,
And
yeah.
of course, they're in the ring, and what a beautiful moment.
Oh, thank you,
And
man.
especially for Ring of Honor, but especially for you and your family who had supported your guys' wrestling career and supported Ring of Honor to be in a Ring of Honor
Oh,
ring.
yeah.
And especially WrestleMania weekend, which is always a very big weekend.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you, man.
That's a pretty special thing.
Yeah, it was something, man. It was pretty cool.
So we'll just kind of wrap up Ring of Honor. I mean, you guys have been around. You've seen them come. You've seen them go. I know you probably won't want to talk bad about MMA because you've probably seen some guys who are like, what's this guy doing here? Or the man like this. I mean, unless you want to name some people, they really kind of rub you the wrong way. But I'm sure you like to keep things positive. In a sense of, have you seen anybody kind of come through, get a tryout match, or get put some of the darks that you're like, this guy's got potentially should be here? Is anybody even in the past like, man, they should have jumped on this guy right away, or is there anybody like, you're like, no, they need to book this guy, and this could really do something good for us?
I mean, not really, man. Not anybody.
Nothing that jumps out in my mind. No.
Yeah. Nah, I really can't. I really don't have any. Nah, I mean, not really, man.
I mean, we worked the show with Brutus the Barber Beefcake in Maryland not long ago. I don't know why Brutus ain't been in Ring of Honor yet, but
Maybe there needs to be a Twitter campaign for it. Maybe we can make that happen. Let's see, Brutus Sport BK, Ring of Honor.
Yep.
Some sort of hashtag.
Hashtag bring in Brutus.
You're the social media guy, so I mean, that's what you need to work on. But anyways, before we kind of wrap up Ring of Honor here and stuff like that, at least that part, this little niche of your career, where do you see Ring of Honor in 5 years?
Man, I don't know, man.
It seems like things are positive. Seems like I know there was some growing pains. With the talent.
I would like to see
those past.
I would like to see regular pay-per-views. I mean, not monthly, because I mean, I'm sure the cost can get a little ridiculous. But maybe a couple times a year, like we did back, like Ladder War with Steen and Generico. That was on regular pay-per-view. That'd be nice to.
Yeah, but shoot, you don't know what kind of money. I mean, it's hard. Like, I don't know, man. I try not. It's hard to get into that side of things, man. But it seems like, everything's. Definitely some growing pains, man. Just getting adjusted to being a TV, a TV product, man, and still trying to. What made Ring of Honor so cool, man, I think was like the undergroundness of it, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody knew about it like this. And now the transition of, actually being a TV product, but still trying to, you know what I mean?
Be edgy, but you can't be too edgy because you want to piss off people in Wichita, Kansas. And it's a fine line, and even ECW couldn't walk it that well.
Yep.
And I know a lot of Ring of Honor guys. Some of them hate the comparison to ECW and Ring of Honor, but there are similarities. Because people have that passion for something. Mm-hmm. Now it's on a national platform, and there's those transitions. And stuff like that.
And I think we're still. I mean, it's still in the process of just trying to get everything. Get the handle on it. But we're getting there, man. I think everything's definitely going in the right direction. So.
Well, now I kind of want to just kind of throw some other places that you've been and stuff. Like, kind of wrap up some of all the other places that you've been, and we kind of come around that way. PWG. Mm-hmm. What are some memories of PWG's favorite matches? I mean, you guys aren't there a whole heck of a lot, but when you're there, it matters.
Yeah, well, man, we've
this match right here. Yep, I just found this in the back there, but this was against Generico and Quicksilver. Remember that match? I thoroughly, enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun out there. And then, you think of PWG, you always think of that old American Legion hall out there with the bar not 20 feet from the ring, and that old crusty old man, bless his heart, at that resident.
As far as PWG goes, man, we've missed quite a few shows, man. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Super Dragon, but we've missed you know, being we was a little intoxicated the night before, and it's a long flight, and you know, we kind of get the idea that I would just get drunk, and then we got this big long 5-hour flight. We'll just get drunk and pass out on the plane. But you know, the hard part, you actually got to get on the plane and in your seat.
I'm well aware.
And
it's a difficult thing.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to do. And you know, I guess the first time we didn't learn our lesson, and it's probably been, you know, 4 or 5 times we've you know, we've missed a few flights out there, and forgive me guys, I'm sorry. I know we've cost y'all a lot of money.
There was one time when we
plane
actually
tickets.
got on the plane. We got on the plane. We made it, and shoot was already starting to pass out. But they came and woke us up.
And kicked us off. Yep. There's
Mm-hmm.
there's quite a few times. There's, you gotta be careful getting on them airplanes.
But you at least got on a plane for the recent DDT that was just happening. In
Well, we
January,
made that one.
which was that was a fairly big event. Any memories of that? Because that was set up to be a stacked card.
Yeah.
El Generico.
El Generico's farewell speech was legendary. Things of legend.
Yep. It was they run some big shows out there, man. They and that crowd, man, such a great crowd. I mean, damn.
Everybody talks about it. It's unbelievable.
Man,
Like,
the atmosphere, man, is such appreciative fans, man. That's the type of fans, you know, you just love wrestling in front of people like that, man, because you just feed off that energy. And yeah, they got it going on out there, man.
Also, too, I mean, you've come back to CZW a couple of times.
Mhm.
How is CZW now compared to what it was?
Oh man, it's well, I mean,
I don't know if organized is the word, but they're more organized. Like they had that one absolutely crazy match every show, and then you know here comes the cleanup crew, and they get it all swept up, and then you never even know that there was a bomb went off in the ring, you know, and then you know then they go on with the show. I mean they're more efficient at cleanup, and I don't know, it's
a lot more efficient. Yep, they yeah, I mean it's pretty much a whole different. I mean, it's all different people there now, but I guess she's still going strong. Good old CZW.
CZW.
Yeah.
What about your trips to Japan? You worked for Noah and of course Big Japan before, but am I missing any others that you?
Nah, I went to Noah 4 times, and yeah, man. I mean that was that. Speaking of atmospheres, you know, like that the Japanese crowd, man, working in front of them is. I mean that's my ideal match, man. If because I mean they're watching your every move. You know what I mean? They ain't making a lot of noise, but they watching you out there, and you really got the. And they appreciate, man, if you know performing the way you're supposed to, and they'll let you know. And yeah, I mean Noah, that's a whole different ball game over there, man. Being able to.
It's almost like a tennis crowd as opposed to like a football crowd. Like in America, it's like a football crowd. You know, they're just rowdy and loud and making noise the whole time. In Japan, it's like they're watching the tennis match. You know. Boom, and they're quiet, and then somebody, you know, boom, and the guy misses the ball, or whatever, then, and then they get back quiet for the serve, and then boom, 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 and then,
I didn't know you were a fan of tennis. I wouldn't have picked that.
You can't tell by looking at me that I'm a tennis man.
I mean, who hasn't watched a Serena Williams tennis match time or two? But anyways, another place that you've received several tryouts for is WWE. We don't want to talk too much. I don't know if you know, because you don't want to piss them off. You don't know their ears are listening or whatever for whatever. But you know, kind of talk about like some of your tryouts you've done, some of the meetings. We know there's been contacts at least at certain times in your career. I think even like several years ago, I think you were in some dark matches and stuff like that.
Nah, we never did a dark match, man. We
or at least the tryouts at the beginning of the afternoon, where all the veterans sit around.
And
which
like,
is probably the toughest atmosphere ever. Because it's like there's Ric Flair, it's Triple H.
Speaking of that, man, and because we were, you know, just doing like a little match before the show type thing in front of everybody, and I remember the end of the match. You know, they didn't want us to do the Doomsday for the finish, so Mark gave him a Hurricanrana. off the top, and then I came out the other corner with a big splash. And that's just what we did for the finish or whatever. But I just remember climbing up to the top rope, man, and I got on the top rope, and I look up like at the big Titantron or whatever, and Vince McMahon's walking down the ramp while I'm on the top rope. I'm just thinking, oh man,
that's gotta be scary.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I better make this splash good. But
well, it's too, you're the low man on the totem pole.
Yeah.
Let's go through his. Like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah,
on top of my
who's this
rope?
guy on my rope here? But that was pretty crazy, man. 'Cause I mean, right as soon as I got up there, I remember just looking up, and here he came. I was thinking, oh shit. but yeah, yep. So yeah.
Like I said, those are tough crowds to work in front of. Like, you probably work in front of 20,000 or 12, and that's easy. But working in front of a crowd of 20 people,
Yeah.
it's like Randy Orton,
Dean Malenko, Arn
Ace,
Anderson.
yeah, and even them, you're just. I can only imagine the pressure of that
Yeah.
situation.
Yep. Yeah, it's something, man. But I mean, once you're out there, man, and once you get between the ropes, man, and start moving around, I mean, it's all, it's all ABCs, man. Just.
Did you receive any feedback from them? Discussion like, hey, you guys are good, or maybe
Yeah.
you do anything that they said to you?
Well, I did that. We did that promo about the cosmetically pleasing thing.
Yeah, so that was gonna be my next question.
That was yeah. I mean, that was pretty much. I mean, that was the word anyway. Through the grapevine, that's what we heard. But I mean, I don't know, man. We just.
But you think in wrestling, you got your bodybuilders, you got your girls, you got your guys, tough guys. It's supposed to be the circus. Why does everybody need to look the same? Wouldn't be the fact that you're not cosmetically pleasing be more appealing?
You would think so. You would think. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, this is the same place that booked George Animal Steel
Yeah,
to
right,
the turnbuckles
right.
off, and they've certainly put him out there as much as possible.
I didn't know this was a beauty contest. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is, man.
I mean, is WWE your ultimate goal?
I mean,
I think every little kid, when they say they want to be a wrestler, they 5 years old, what they mean is, I want to wrestle on TV, when we was little watching Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior saying, I want to be a wrestler when I grow up. We want to do what Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior doing,
And I mean, now, because my son's getting ready to be 4, man, and he's the biggest wrestling fan in the world, and it's almost.
You'd be super dad if you were
I
on Raw.
would be super dad. If I was on Raw, I would be super dad, man. So it's definitely motivating, man. And I mean, we'll see what happens.
Well, let's just say Vince McMahon calls you right now and says,
What are you doing on my top rope?
I remember you being on my top rope, but I'll tell you what, I want to give you a job, and I want to put you on TV. Briscoe Brothers, I want you to be in the WWE. Where do you think the Briscoe Brothers would fit, and how that would be portrayed on television?
I don't think we'd have to.
Like, what would you have to change? What would you think?
I don't think because we're trying to. We're trying to take a little bit of the edge off here, just in general, with with the brand over the past couple years, trying to tune things down anyway, man. Because I mean, being real edgy, man. Like, I like because my son, like I said, he loves it, man, and I can't be, dropping F-bombs and all this, man, and like, I don't want my son to see that, man. So it's just kind of a natural thing that's happening anyway, just kind of, I don't know, man, just getting ready, or what you want to call it, man. But I think, I think if Vince gave us the call and wanted us to come up to TV, I think we'd be ready, and I don't think we'd have to change too much.
Because when people talk about it, and everybody, if you watch several interviews and podcasts, they say, who should be on WWE TV, and everybody's the Briscoe Brothers. And of course, that gets a lot of discussion. People are always like, if they get the Briscoe Brothers, they're going to put them in overalls, and they're going to be like Henry Godwin, just because you're from the country. And I understand how that is. I'm from the country, and I get that stereotype that everybody thinks you're illiterate, you're ignorant. We all got slot buckets, and we all got overalls. But really, I think like kids from the country, that's not how it is.
Yeah.
Like, here we are sitting in shorts and being however. We look no different than people who live in the city. But it seems like there's this real connotation about us, and people
Right.
still, even to this day, in 2013, ask if I go outside in an outhouse.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
so. I mean, there's that perception of it. Do you feel like if you were, would you be put in that same perception? Would you be put in overalls?
I think even if I think once we get once that bell rings, man, I think the work speaks for itself type thing, man. Shoot, even if we did come down there in overalls, I believe we could pull that. I know this, we can do whatever. We can do whatever, man. And like I
Be
said,
versatile, we can flexible with it.
once the bell rings, it's all ABCs, man. In the ring, this ain't our first rodeo between the ropes, man. So it's whatever, man.
So let's say on the other side of that coin, Vince McMahon calls.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you being in my top rope.
Yeah,
You'll never be in my promotion ever. I'll shut it down if you ever are in it. And you keep doing what you do. Will you be disappointed? Will you feel unfulfilled with your career?
It's gonna be what it's gonna be. You know what I mean?
All we could do, man, is just try our hardest, man. And as long as you giving it your all, you really can't be disappointed. As long as you leave everything on the field, man, you can't be disappointed. So whatever happens, man, it's just.
You ain't never see Bruiser Brody on WWF. He wasn't that ring there, was he?
No, he did. I think he did some of the Madison Square Garden shows
Yeah.
way back in the day, but never. He was never in the WWF
Right,
that
he was
we
never-
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you leave it all out there, man, you just, whatever comes, man, I don't know, man. That's a tough question there.
That's why I asked it. But that's always been your personality. Just leave it all out in the field and stuff like that. But a big thing about your personality. See, I don't watch a lot of TV because I feel like what we do in wrestling is far more entertaining than what's on TV. And a perfect example is that. Is everybody talks about the show Duck Dynasty and how great these personalities are. I watched one episode, and the whole time I'm thinking, there ain't no way that this show is more entertaining than what's going on at the Briscoe brothers' house right now.
Yeah, man. Shoot, that's pretty much we going hand in hand, man. With Duck, like if they had some cameras down there. And
It's not a hand. They're far. That's the minor leagues. You guys, are the majors. Like what's going on at the Briscoes' house? I guarantee is far more entertaining.
Yeah, well, it's definitely an adventure, man. Every day's an adventure.
And I think you guys have been very smart in the social media sense with the YouTube videos. One of my favorites is the doghouse, the 1,000-pound doghouse, and the line.
It really happened. It really
This is a
happened.
common situation.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody ever been in that situation before.
Yeah.
Oh, come
But-
on. You
I
never have.
Never have.
Was that something that kind of pissed me off just a little bit? Was somebody had left a comment on there that said, well, Mark just should have put down the bucket and undone the straps, and he wouldn't have had to cut the straps. He'd have saved, $50 pair of straps. Whoever left that comment, I guess he didn't think in his head that maybe I might have tried that and it didn't work. I tried it about 18 times. I tried it in different ways. The bucket, up, down, dump, all that. It just wasn't happening. The only option we had was to cut it with the weed eater.
Oh, I saw it.
It's happened.
I definitely agree. That's
Yeah.
the only option you
It
have.
happened before, and it will happen again.
But where did you guys get the idea of doing these YouTube videos? They've become quite the hit. Like I hear people that have other wrestlers discuss them. They're like, "This is the most entertaining thing ever."
Oh, well, thank you, man. When you're in the chicken house, man, like working in the chicken house, you get a lot of time to think. And then we got like a little landscaping business going, and we cut grass all day. And cutting grass, you got a lot of time to think. So, yeah, I don't like when people get on there, man, and like they'll do like a little promo or whatever, man, and like they just seem like they put no thought into it whatsoever. Like it's just the most random bullshit promo, man. And like I think if you're gonna take time to get a camera set up and record yourself, you need to at least put a little bit of thought into what
It
you're
takes a
gonna
little
say.
bit to upload it and all that.
Right,
If you're gonna
right.
do it.
Do it right.
Have something you're gonna
Yeah,
do. With it,
yeah.
Do something special with it.
Yep. If you're gonna take all that time, you got to at least put some thought into it. So
I definitely wholeheartedly agree. I mean, Terry Funk don't wear no mouthpiece.
that's right.
You know, and it seems like there's a lot of comedic timing. Like, I don't know if it's accidental, like especially the shotgun going off. Like, I don't like. Hollywood people couldn't time that perfectly, you know. Like, but Mark finds a way to make it all just work. You know, is that natural chemistry you guys have, or do you kind of put some thought to it, or did that just happen? Like,
A lot of times just kind of happen.
You know, I mean, I pretty much, I mean, I know what this somebody's gonna do long before he ever does it. You know, I mean,
that's a gift and a curse, I
yeah,
guess.
gift and a curse. Yep. Shoot, you know, been around each other for so long and did so much stuff, man. It's just to the point now where, you know, nothing he really does surprise me anymore. I mean, no matter how off the wall it may be, I've seen this boy do some pretty stupid stuff. So it take a lot to surprise me anymore.
Well, especially selling his teeth on eBay. Where did that come up?
Where did it come up, or how did it turn out?
Both.
Well, it came up when it was right around first week of December, and I looked into my bank account, and it just was not pretty at all. We got the 2 youngins and, you know, family and friends, and got buy Christmas presents. And so I figured, shoot, I got like 4 pairs of teeth, because when I went to get my teeth made, the first pair didn't quite, well, the first pair that I had, it fit like a glove. I got home from church one Sunday, you know, going to take me a nap, take my teeth out, put them on the table, you know, take me a little nap, wake up, where's my teeth? Look over there, and the daggone pit bull chewing on my $800 fake teeth, and done broke them up and everything. So, you know, I had to go get another pair made, affordable dentures. Pretty good work. They do pretty good work. It does get crowded in there, and I tell you, it's mainly senior citizens, and they have some interesting conversations. This man in there, I'm not going to lie to you about it. It would do me no good. He told another old fella that on his ride from Harrington to Salisbury, he saw 2 dead horses on the side of the road. 2 dead horses on the side of the road. I've never want to see the dead horses. But this older gentleman said that on his way from Harrington to Salisbury to Affordable
About a
Dentist,
half-hour ride there.
he saw 2 dead horses on the side of the road. That's what he said. Yeah, but so I ended up, the first pair didn't fit, so they had to make another one by a couple of days later. I went back. So I had an extra pair of dentures, partial. And I said, you know, got this bank account issue. I got extra pair of teeth. 2 and 2 together. You know,
I never took that math class, but that might have been advanced math class.
That's what they teach down in Sanford.
So, yeah, how do I get, you know, the goal is Christmas presents. The concern is money, you know, and then just all of a sudden I'm just blessed with an extra pair of teeth that I know I'm not going to do nothing with them, because they don't even fit in my head right without the goop. I can't wear the goop. Mm-hmm. I can't wear the goop. So I figured it'd be best off just try to sell them. I figured somebody would buy them, and if they was up to more than $200 with 5 days to go, and eBay pulled them off. They said it was against their policy.
So what'd you do? Did you just contact the people that had the last bid, or you just
No, I still got them. I still got them. I can't remember. Good Lord blessed me with some money coming in somewhere between that point and Christmas, but I did end up, doing all right with the Christmas
maybe
present.
we can list them on Highspots.com. It's not against our issues. Maybe we can do that.
Oh,
maybe
man.
we can work.
Help you out there.
Maybe once these cameras roll off, we'll talk some business. And
man.
maybe you can teach me that advanced math.
Yeah, man.
But another thing you could probably teach me is you're quite the meteorologist, I hear.
Well, yes.
No,
Heard
tell me.
His backup plan.
They had backup plan, WBOC, they down in Salisbury, Maryland, about town where we were both born at, about, 10 minutes south of where we're at. And, they've had pretty decent weather people come and go. I remember Jane, she was a couple years ago. Jane did a pretty good job. Can't remember what her last name was. But I figured that when, I was trying to hang up the boots, I think that's, that's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
had a little bit of practice already, and I think that I know what the people want.
Well, I definitely agree. As being a farm kid, the weather report is very important.
Very important.
Terry Swales. You don't listen to Teresa Bryant, but Terry Swales is the one going to give you your weather in Iowa.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
You know who's bullshit and who's not.
Yeah.
You
that's
know?
right.
That is for sure.
Some of them just out there just for show,
Oh, yeah.
and it's
They could give a shit. They don't give a damn about the weather.
now Stephanie Abrams, and Mike Bettis in the morning on the Weather Channel. That they're on it. They are on it. I mean,
Well, the good people got to be in the morning.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
got
see,
to
see,
be.
my place, it was reversed. Like the worst people were in the morning. The
Oh,
good people were at
man.
night, and that was awful.
Yeah,
And see,
yeah.
that's why everybody.
'Cause, I
watched
mean, the
night.
day's over then.
It's over, but but the thing is, you always had to watch the night, so that way you knew what was going to happen next day when you
day.
woke up.
Yeah.
You never paid attention during the day.
Yep, yep, that's right.
And they still got that. There's still a room for error if they're giving the weather report, and they still got to wait all night before the next day starts.
Exactly.
If you get that good weather report first thing in the morning, right before as the sun's coming up, you can pretty well bank on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. But I got to think. Like I've been to your community. I've actually done shows in your community. How did that come up? Like to me, like. No offense. I'm sure people will look at you like, I don't know if they're bright enough to run a wrestling show. But apparently, maybe no shock to me because you seem like very smart individuals and you understand all aspects of wrestling. You run very successful shows.
Well, thank you.
You do. You bring in a crowd. You deliver a good product, and you do an excellent job. Like,
I appreciate that, man.
No, you do a very very good job. Everything's put together very nice, and everything's fantastic. Seems like I don't know, fundraiser, but it seems like people are walking away with money at the end of the night. Nobody's complaining. Good fun time, which is very hard to do. We'll put on a good wrestling show and have fun with it. You guys found the formula.
Well, shoot. A good old-fashioned pro wrestling, man, you can't beat it. When pro wrestling is done right, man, it's the best thing, man. A little kid going to a pro wrestling show, a good pro wrestling show, it don't get no better, man. And if
The pinnacle of entertainment.
daggone, shoot. As far as little kids go, man, we just try to do it for the kids, and then if the kids are happy, the parents are gonna be happy because the kids are happy, man. And then it's just a good atmosphere, man. But yeah, when pro wrestling is done right, man, there ain't nothing better.
And we got, small town life, everybody knows everybody, tight knit community. So, more so than if it's, whatever, in Chicago, Charlotte, Boston, whatever, where it's, just about everybody that's in the building knows everybody else in the building. So you're going to have more fun anyway.
Oh, and here you're the hometown guys. You're big stars elsewhere. I'm sure people can't go to the Hammerstein Ballroom or go to Chicago to see you. They want to see you wrestle, and you're going to go there and wrestle. And you always bring a wonderful roster of guys that are going to do your show right, and just you always bring it in. So.
Thank you, yeah, because we when we were in like the whole town kind of like knows about us wrestling, man. Because when we were in like high school and we were doing the backyard stuff. Like, I was just talking about it to my buddies, and, like, one of my JV basketball coach heard me talking about it. He's like, did he really jump off the house onto you? I was like, yeah, we got it on tape. He said, bring that tape in here. He said, he didn't believe me, so I brought the tape and showed him. It's like, he started showing the whole school, like, look at what these dumb kids are doing. So the whole school, we kind of became notorious for the kids that used to jump off the house and beat each other up in the backyard.
He powerbomb me on fire. Barbed wire boards and shoot. They showed on the morning high school news WLHS. They showed a little highlight clip of our backyard stuff. Barbed wire, bat, and stuff that they probably wouldn't just show in most high school. I'm over there bleeding, and then he powerbombed me on fire, and he hit me in the head with this and that and the other, and. It's pretty violent for a high school. For a morning.
I had I remember in the backyard days, man, Dick the Hill's main weapon was, because Sandman used to have the kendo stick, and I had it was just a broomstick that it happened to break, like, right in half, but it didn't, like you know what I mean. Like if the broomstick's like this, it broke like that. So it was still intact, but it like made a little clap with it.
Oh, yeah, I guess
So that was my weapon right there, man. So I used to hit Mark with it and it made a nice clap and everything. And and that was. Everybody got a kick out of me hitting Mark with the broomstick.
And he didn't hardly never want to take nothing, but he just beat me with a chair and kendo sticks. And the only time I ever got to get back at him was when I put him through them tables.
He was the baby face, man.
And one time he threw a chair and I caught it and he kicked it.
Give
boom.
Van Daminator.
Broke like the brim of the chair like broke my nose. I mean, I was bleeding from the outside of my nose and the inside of my nose. It was bad. Dad was in the house watching TV or something, and he poked his head out of the back door, and I'm out there bleeding in the ass. Somebody, how'd that happen? He said, Jamie kicked the chair into Mark's face, and it broke his nose. And Dad was there all pissed off. Break his nose, Mark! Break his nose! But I ended up winning the match by jumping off the horse barn, putting him through the table. Yep.
With the Natural Born Killers playing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Dad, now I gotta assume like this is the same rural community where your dad grew up. I'm guessing.
Well, he lived in West Virginia, man.
Okay.
He moved over probably like 8th grade. He moved over to Laurel.
Okay.
But mom's always lived in Laurel her whole life, man. So.
It's pretty similar to the community that I grew up in. And then one thing that I've discovered is that as you get older, and like 18 and 20, that's when you hear the best stories about your parents.
Yeah.
Before.
I
So
remember.
can you give me some Papa Briscoe stories
Shoot.
that just like, man, I can't believe my dad did this.
Yeah, like I mean, shoot, they still to this day. I mean, I'm damn near 30 years old, and to this day, man, I see some of Dad's old buddies, and he said, "Yeah, you still ain't old enough to hear these stories about your daddy." And so yeah, but I guess Dad just be pretty crazy, man.
It sounded like he acted like we did around 2005 and
Yeah, just I guess it runs in the family, man. But Dad,
shoot, I remember this isn't exactly type of story that you asked me about, but I remember one time we was in the house and we had a little like 4 or 5 stairs at Mom and Dad's house that go down into a little downstairs, and Jamie had done something, and I tried to trip him and push him down the stairs.
Like a reverse STO, like down the steps. He was trying to take me out.
And I was really trying to take him out, and then but he caught himself. He didn't take the whole face bumping. How that he caught himself, and I turned around and I took off running toward the back door, and he came chasing me, and right at perfect time, and Dad came walking in the house getting home from work, and he was always the bad one, but at this point I was the one who probably deserved a whooping, but I was running, Jamie was chasing me. I said, "Dad, get him!" And I ran right by Dad and right out the back door. And Jamie come running by like that, choked him.
It was like I ran into the choke slam from the Undertaker.
Yep, and then if I remember correctly, you told Dad what happened, and then Big Man come running out the door. He came after me, but he couldn't catch me by then.
Well, speaking of family members, we actually have a family member here who's a budding broadcast journalist.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got, I believe, 10 questions for you. So
Uncle Jeffro.
Uncle Jeffro made the trip all the way down to North Carolina.
Yeah.
From Sandy Fork. Come on in, Uncle Jeffro.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to get out of this chair, sir. Thank you for being in the Highspots Lounge.
Thank you.
I got a list of a few simple questions. You go ahead. It's the Briscoe brothers.
What do you prefer, Ford or Chevy?
What do you prefer, Ford or Chevy?
Ford or Chevy?
The question is, what do you prefer, Ford or Chevy? Check it, I'll let you...
Ford or Chevy? Dodge! Thank you. Dodge would be the correct answer to that one.
Which your favorite tag team to watch?
What's your favorite tag team to watch?
Favorite tag team to watch? What, is this one specifically for me?
Yeah, they all for you.
Oh. Favorite tag team to watch? See, now that's a good one there. That's a good question. That's a tough one.
Is it the primetime player? Move, make it move, make it $1 million move. That's
know.
my son, man. That's my son's. Just the theme song, man. He gets a kick out of the theme song. And they come down, got a little bob to him, and my son's a big primetime player fan right now.
And back in WCW Saturday
Do you
night.
have a problem ever manning up?
What was the question?
Do you have a problem?
Do you ever have a
Ever
problem manning up? Me personally, no, but this guy here, yes. I'm sure he.
No.
You should see him at work. I mean, he struggles.
I got this man ride around on this big old lawnmower that he got. He just ride around and he stands up on it. So to me, that's even more official than the sit down mark. Because he's standing up. Like if you're standing up and you're moving, but you're not doing anything, like one of them segways or whatever, you automatically.
I would let him cut the grass, but he can't make the line straight. So I got to cut the grass. He got to run the weed eater.
So I walked 12.2 miles the other day weed eating. My phone has a counter on it. 12.2 miles weed eating. And this guy over there, King Grass Cutter Man.
What would you do if you won the lottery?
If you won the lottery,
I'd give the money to you, Uncle Jeffro.
I'd pay off the chicken houses. Once you get them bird houses paid off, then we talking money. Then get them some bitches paid off. That's the hard part.
See, I had won the lottery many times before. We used to go, me, Hart, Denny Lee, Tree. We used to go and get scratch-off tickets every day at work. First thing we do when we left, we left out from the time clock on the way to the job, we stopped and get scratch-off tickets. And I believe one day, Tree won $20. I won a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there, so I have actually won the lottery.
If you could have dinner with one person, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
If you could have dinner with one person, alive or dead, who would it be? I'm thinking I got to say Hulk Hogan for this one.
Yeah, that's pretty.
The Hulkster. Who wouldn't want to eat dinner with the Hulkster?
That's pretty obvious answer to that one there would be Hulk Hogan.
What is your favorite match at all times?
It's not Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior because the Ultimate Warrior won.
That's my favorite. I was a Warrior man, So maybe I'd eat dinner with the Warrior. What's your favorite match of all time, Chicken?
Trying to think of what Hulk Hogan match it would be.
Hulk versus Andre?
Yeah, I was a little young then, so probably not that one. Hulk versus
Earthquake.
Oh, that was pretty good there. That was classic. I don't know. Hulk versus somebody.
If you don't wrestle or work on a chicken farm, what else would you do?
If we didn't wrestle or work on the chicken farm, what else would we do? Damn, be honest, Uncle Jeffro, I don't know. That's all I've done my whole life. Been on chicken farm 20-some years now. That's all I know is chickens and wrestling.
I'd probably be an undercover agent for the FBI. But you never know. I might already be that. But y'all just wouldn't know.
Don't blow your cover, Mark.
No, but you wouldn't know.
What is your favorite music album?
Favorite music album?
Well, currently, I like that Eric Church, Chief. That's currently called Chief. See, I ain't got no iPod, no iPad. I don't even got a computer at my house. I still buy CDs. All y'all people with your iPods all fancy. I don't understand how you got time for all that crazy business. That's overload.
Yeah.
You're overstimulating your senses, and you're gonna hurt yourself.
What is your favorite city to wrestle in?
Favorite city to wrestle in?
I don't know. Chicago's
a good one.
Chicago Ridge.
Chicago's a good one, man. By Chicago.
Cool. What would you rather be stuck on a...
I got you. That's a big one here. Would you rather be stuck on a desert island with Jim Cornette, Gabe Sapolsky, Adam Pearce, or Delirious?
See, just for entertainment's sake, I say Jim Cornette.
Yeah, I'd have to say Jim.
I say Jim Cornette.
Because Jim is just being around Jim, man, and just hearing Jim, just seeing Jim be Jim is I would definitely have to say Jim. He'd definitely keep us entertained, man.
Cool. Cool.
Uncle Jeffro, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey, Uncle Jeffro, I got one question for you.
What?
If you went home and your dog Abner had took a dookie on the kitchen counter, what would you do?
Leave it.
Excellent job, Uncle Jeffro.
Thank you.
From one broadcast journalist to another. Awesome job. Thank you. All right, we're going to kind of close this thing off. We got some Twitter questions.
All right.
Some fan questions. We put it out there on Twitter that we were doing this interview. We have some people, and we want to say their names, acknowledge them, and stuff like that. Bring it back up. There we go. Cody Sethman. One dream tag team you would like to face. Who could it be, past or present?
Probably Road Boys, man. Probably the Road Boys. I know they'd whoop our ass, but just just being the Road Boy. I mean, they was the baddest. Them boys was bad. Just being in the ring with them, that'd be
WWF Road Warriors or NWA Road Warriors?
either one.
Either one? Because I always felt like they were kind of different.
Well, yeah,
Legion of Doom,
yeah. I mean, as long as they get the Doomsday to Mark, it'll be all good.
Maybe you can give them the Doomsday. They get back up, give you the Doomsday. That might be something for the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
Also from Cody Sethman, your thoughts on Kevin Steen since coming back in 2011?
I mean, Kevin, he's one of the best out there.
Kevin's on fire, man. But he's always been on fire. He's always been on fire, man. He just got the passion, man, for the business.
But he just got that real unique. Like, I mean, he's how he can move. You would think he was 200 pounds and ripped to shreds, but that's almost the beauty of it, of Kevin Steen.
John Mandela. I'm sorry, John, if I mispronounced your name. We already kind of covered it, but I want to let him reference it and stuff like that again. What were your thoughts hanging upside down? Well, Jimmy Jacobs you're dripping blood on Jimmy Jacobs. We've already kind of talked about it. He also asked about favorite tag team that you'd like to face, but, also, too, singles. Aside from tag, who would be like somebody's singles?
Shoot.
It would not be Ming because I'm scared to death with that Tongan death grip, so it wouldn't be Ming because I'd be worried about the Tongan death grip.
I mean, shit, I'd like to wrestle The Rock. Just say I wrestled The Rock.
No?
I'd like to wrestle Hulk Hogan. I'd like to wrestle Hulk Hogan.
Cody Sethman also asked, Mark, what event was it where your teeth got knocked out?
It was in Philadelphia. It was a tag team tournament for PW.
Pro Wrestling Unplugged.
Pro Wrestling
Johnny
Unplugged.
Cashmere and Trent Acid league that they had going there for a
Yep,
little
we
bit.
were wrestling the Crash Crew. And Jay was going to hit one of them with a chair, and he cocked back, and he hit me right in the mouth with a chair. And put
Kind of on the backswing, like when I'm cocking back is bang,
the brim of the chair, like you can fit a chair, a folding chair, you can fit it right there, because I hit right there, not one tooth in the nose, and then broke two off right at the gum. Not pleasant.
made him even uglier.
Not pleasant at all. And then when the dentist pulled out what was left, the one that was in the nose slid right out. That was no problem. But the two that were nubs that were broke at the gum,
Yeah, yank him out of there.
my man took a pair of pliers, grabbed a hold on one of them nubs there. And he told me, he said, let me know if it hurts.
You couldn't talk.
Yeah.
He's got pliers on your mouth.
And I told him, no. And I was I was trying because I knew it was not going to be comfortable, so I was trying, I ain't going to say nothing unless it really hurts. I'm kind of squinting and stuff, and he said, "Oh, I think we got to, I think he's being, trying to be a tough guy here." He said that to one of his assistants or whatever, and then he gets back yanking, and I told him, Doc, it hurts. He's like, "What are you, a wuss?" I was like, "What? I'm about to pull your teeth out. That's what I'm about to do."
Mark, how come you're not on Twitter?
He is on Twitter.
He is on Twitter.
Yep. This boy right here gets all drunked up one night, and he got the bright idea. At the White Moses is this man's Twitter right here.
Oh.
He ain't never tweeted, but that's the man's Twitter because he got drunked up and he called me up and he said, "Look at this," and I was like, "The White Moses," and and he that's him. That's him. Don't let him lie to you and act like he cool because he ain't on Twitter. That boy on Twitter. The White Moses.
I made a Twitter. I ain't on it. I don't know nothing about it.
Probably don't remember the password, do you?
Oh, I got it's between two different passwords that I use, depending on how many characters it calls for. And if you need a number, whether or not, or if there's capitalized letters, there has to be a capital letter in there. Two different passwords, so I had to be able to get it figured out.
But you're also we've mentioned a little bit here, but you're against social media in a sense, Mark.
I'm against technology.
Well, why is that? Let's expand upon this thought process. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
the internet is can be a good thing. Money's not. People say money is evil. Money's not evil. What people do with money and what money makes people do can be evil, but money's neutral. The internet's neutral, but daggone, if it ain't hard sometimes when you get on the internet, there's a lot of temptation, stimulation here, stimulation there. I'm pretty sure that many scientists and educated people have gone and done research about what exactly makes the brain trigger this way and that way, and I think it's a little bit of a brainwashing process. It's just like a lot of other stuff is advertising, television, all that good stuff. But I just choose to try to stay away the best I can. It's not like I don't never get on the computer or nothing, but I ain't got no computer in my house. But when I go over to Mom's house or to Jamie's house, I get on the computer. I do have an email address and all that. I used to have, a MySpace. I used to have a Facebook. But, now I think it's just, life's a lot easier when it's simpler. And when I had the Facebook, there was always just a little teeny part of me in the back of my mind, like, "Oh, I wonder if I got anything to do on my Facebook." and then, that was always there. So much better now that it's not. That's why I don't plan on putting a tweet on the tweeter.
The White Moses, come on, man, they're waiting for it.
White Moses. We'll put it right at the graphic down below, so everybody can start following.
Then it would be it would be that same voice, but it'd be about the tweet. It'd be
What are people saying on Twitter? They mad at me because I didn't respond to their email.
Exactly. This one guy mad at me. I didn't do it on purpose. Yeah, but it's just simplify.
Less is more.
Less is more. Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas taught you.
Yeah. Yep.
Less is more.
Yep.
Icon Devil. Yo, Jay. You ever actually catch someone fucking a chicken? Like someone breaking in and loving them up?
No, but I know somebody who has.
No?
Yeah, I've never actually seen it, thank God, but I know somebody who has.
And I know Ricky Marvin and Noah, he told us a story of like down in Mexico when he was young about these little rascals in the village that used to hump chickens.
See, my area was goats, and Pickle was caught fucking a goat one time.
Okay.
Which I find it funny you bring up these guys like Whitey, and I've heard the podcast where you talk about hog sausage.
Oh yeah.
You seem like you have a you give somebody a nickname and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, any other guys that's got some interesting nicknames that you might want to mention from your crew?
I mean,
You know, black meat.
Little black meat.
You call him poop sometimes. He poop, you know, like poop. You know, Whitey, Baloney Man, Jughead,
Balloon Man, Jughead,
Hojer,
Skippy the Mountain Man.
Skippy the Mountain Man, Hippie. You know, we
Yeah,
got
hog sausage.
we got a mess of them.
Because you almost have to, because when you have a small community, sometimes it's made up of 4 or 5 different families. You can't settle because somebody, Mr. Kilberg.
Right.
We're talking Mr. Kilberg, like Mr. Kilberg, and that Kilberg. You can't use their last name because.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
We got
I know
ham
that.
sandwich, Birdman, Turtle Man, Mr. Duck.
Well, I think we covered all the fan questions. I just got one question for you, and we'll wrap this all up. I asked you, like, where do you think Ring of Honor is going to be in 5 years? But I want to ask you, too, where do you see your guys, yourself, as people, as wrestlers, as beings on this planet? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I'll be about 34. Hopefully, I will have made a little bit of money, you know, so I could hopefully be caught up on all my bills. You know, let's see. I got third child on the way in June, so let's see. My son in 5 years will be about 8 years old. My daughter will be 7. Newborn will be about 5. It's you know, it's a lot. That's a lot to comprehend there.
They're all going to go through high school at the same time.
Yeah,
They're
it's
all
gonna
going to
be-
go through all that stuff where they want money and do stuff with money.
And that's the thing. And money, daggone, and I ain't really worried about money, but it definitely makes life easier when you got it. So hopefully, Lord willing, we'll be able to just to make some money and then support the family and just kind of keep rolling.
What about you, Mark?
Yeah, 5 years, you know, hopefully my goal, world domination, will hopefully it'll pan out by then. You know, right now we're, you know, the analysis and whatnot, we thinking we're probably about 9 years off, but in 5 years we might have a continent or 2. We'll see how she goes.
So maybe White Moses will send out a tweet sometime in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hope
you never
that.
know. You never do know.
Well, where can people get in touch with you? You're obviously on Twitter.
Yeah, and I don't really even got that much time to get on there much no more.
I can say because
man.
for a while there, you were doing your Twitter account was a real good follow.
Yeah, I was, and just like he was saying, man, it kind of sucks you in after a while, man, and
When you're busy, it's like why am I doing
Yeah.
that? I'm going to the gym.
Right,
Why am
right.
I'm doing it.
like and like the thing that got me, man, like once my kids started growing, man, and like you know, that's why I ain't got a smartphone anymore, because I used to have the smartphone and I'd be sitting there at home looking at my damn cell phone when I could be, you know, playing with my kids, man, and it just you know, that shit just gets old,
And
man. It
distraction.
just sucks you in, and so just try to, like he was saying earlier, man, just try, you know,
Simplify.
less is more, and yeah, so.
But
So, yeah, but you can still jbrisco84 is my Twitter. You could let's see, you can email us. The email is briscoecwa@aol.com. So that's briscoecwa@aol, and that's probably the best way to get in contact with us. You know, unless I were to give out my cell phone number, but
Send out smoke signals.
yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for sitting down. This is
Yes,
wonderful.
sir.
Yes, sir.
It's nice to talk a country boy talking to some
Yeah,
country
man.
boys for a
Yes,
change.
sir.
So thank you very
Yes,
much,
sir.
gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thank you, man.
So
Yes, sir.
good luck to you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.